Hello everyone, how you going and welcome back to DIWhy. Now I hope you bought the eye bleach because I think we're about to see a whole bundle of things that we would otherwise not really encounter and you might find a little bit horrific to see and don't even try to explain it because these people you can't be reasoned with them. So then starting right off with, oh okay. I feel as though the titles that don't spoil it, oh my goodness, I didn't even get to finish my sentence. Wait, this is such a short video. Hang on a second, I just need to take this back and just enjoy it again. What the hell, you just kind of get to eat the banana and then I guess you're kind of reusing the banana peel, so it's cool in that way, but I must say that is definitely some of the most Willy Wonky kind of everything's made of chocolate and everything's edible, a banana, cup of tea, whatever you want to call it, I've ever seen. So what I was going to say before is I kind of like it when the titles don't spoil it or even to give context, but it certainly can make it very strange without it. I mean, look, I guess it's good to know if you were camping and you just somehow managed to smash your glass and you went, well, I just don't know what to do. I mean, I don't really know how reusable this would be in terms of the banana holding up to hot water, but hey, you clearly get at least one use out of it, and that's certainly more uses than just throwing it in the bin. So even though this is DIY, I feel as though this one doesn't even need a why. It's just kind of like, well, why not, you know? If you have a banana and you don't have cups and you're trying to be environmentally friendly, then really this is just the way to go about it, and it clearly works once. Even if the kid does seem very confused with the entire situation going, I don't know what we're doing, but I guess I'm just going to do what I'm told. And also it's kind of an educational video because I never would have thought that you'd be able to get a banana out of a banana like that. I mean, maybe you need a little bit more help, but you wouldn't be able to cut it or anything because then you're going to have a hole in the banana skin. I mean, he does make it look very easy to be able to get that banana out of the banana skin, and I just don't feel as though it's going to be that easy. I mean, maybe you just have to get the right ripeness of banana, but at the same time I just feel as though they're generally more attached than that. And also, I don't know how I didn't think about it before, but you were going to get what, I don't know, 50 mils of tea in there. You know, you think about the volume of a banana and you just go, hang on a second, there is no way, like most of the water, especially with the tea bag still in there, most of it is going to be tea bag, and then you're going to have a little bit of water. So maybe that is why it looks as though they barely take a sip out of it, because it is literally only a sip. I mean, really, you look at the size of it, you just can't fit any more volume in there. And so I might just have to retract my statements from before going, oh, hang on, I don't know, it might work. You know, it's a good way to kind of recycle a banana. At the same time, come on, surely you can have some kind of glass. I mean, if this is your absolute last resort, then go for it. But you are certainly not going to be having a very nice drinking experience because you're just going to be drinking a tea bag, drinking banana juice, or then maybe you'll get a little bit of water in there at the end. Why? It's a lot easier to learn sharpening a knife. Oh, now first of all, okay, obviously we will just have a complete failure of a knife there, and yeah, you might want to sharpen your knife. This is nearly a 7-minute video, so there's no way that I'm sitting through all of this. Hang on a second. Okay, we'll give it a little second. Okay, that is definitely not recommended. Don't be flushing knives down the toilet. But alrighty then, this is going to be one hell of a contraption. He's cutting out razor blades. He must be literally making a razor blade knife from scratch. I mean, yeah, I guess in theory it kind of makes sense in terms of if you want a really sharp blade, but no, exactly like the title said, surely it is way easier to actually just pay someone to sharpen it, let alone just even kind of learning to sharpen it properly yourself. But here we go, obviously he's shaping a handle, like everything looks cool. So if it's something that you actually want to make because it's a project or something like that, then go for it. But don't be making it think that this is going to be easier, better, or I don't know, just any different or worthwhile compared to just sharpening a knife. Oh, and here we go. Look, we can even cut a tomato now because you've never been able to cut a tomato with your regular knife. No, you actually need to go out and buy replaceable blades, Stanley blades, whatever you want to call them, for a knife that you made. I mean, I guess in saying that, if you were for whatever reason just unable to sharpen a blade, it kind of makes sense in theory, but not in practice. You know, to be honest, I feel as though even if someone took a rock to that original knife that apparently got flushed down the toilet, you would probably make it sharper than it already is, because I have never seen a knife that is that dull that it completely squashes the tomato. I mean, maybe I've just been lucky with sharper knives, but maybe it's also the fact that I just kind of keep the knife sharper. I don't know, I feel as though it's definitely a chicken or the egg and we know which way it's going. But no, hey, I guess a recurring theme with all of these posts is just going to be, well, I guess why, but at the same time it's definitely creative. And so in that regard, you can't knock its creativity. Like I said, if someone was actually doing this because they wanted a little project or something like that, then obviously take the precautions necessary to kind of do something like this. But I'm certainly not going to sit here and discourage people from going about projects, but really it doesn't make sense if this is actually a serious thing that you're having a problem with. Like the title said, just learn to sharpen a knife. There is no way that if you have all the equipment and even the nous to even make something like this, there is no way that is harder and just even worthwhile to not sharpen the knife compared to making it. So I guess it's good to see that DIY hasn't changed while I've been away. You know, we're still getting the same random, crazy, unexplainable posts that we've always been getting. And hey, I guess considering the fact that this post is completely unexplainable for more than one reason, then really it's glad to see that DIY hasn't lost any of its tradition. DIY duet troll killing it. Surely this has to be some kind of 5-minute crafts inspired thing. What is it going to be? Oh, wait, hang on a second. Let me just rewind that for a second because that was very quick. Obviously, you just got standard undies. You just cut them in half. Okay, the actual product before she goes on actually seems as though it does all right. Just in terms of better than I would expect in a way. But anyway, let's just see what she's got to say. Oh, no. Now, this is also what I expected. Like, you see exactly what's going on here. My goodness. Oh, actually, wow. I mean, at least she's been a little bit efficient giving what she's got. But no, that is definitely more along the lines of what I expected from the first pair in terms of just style and all of that kind of thing. And really, it makes sense as to why you shouldn't be doing this when you see her do it. I mean, like the title said, it's a perfect kind of troll video and it's great in that regard, but at least it's also being a little bit educational. And also, I don't really feel as though I meet all the criteria to be saying whether this is good or not. I mean, like I have been doing, I can give my rough opinions based on what we can see here, that one certainly seems to be working better than the other, but really, I feel as though the second one is definitely more in line with what it should be happening here. But besides that, and kind of based on my observations and, well, I don't know, thinking, I feel as though it certainly would be just as easy to get undies as it is to get a bra. I mean, call me crazy, but aren't they generally right next to each other? And really, if you're in that much of a pinch, I feel as though you're not going to be having either on hand. You know, this is the kind of thing that you would see someone on a desert island that has been stranded there for years doing, you know, they're just going, okay, well, I guess I got these undies that I just kind of chop up and at least cover me. I mean, I don't know really what it's going to be doing, but I mean, I've got nothing else. But I feel as though it might be a little bit far reaching, but I could almost say 100% of the demographic of everyone that's going to see this video, this just isn't really relevant. So I guess all in all, it just comes back to what I said at the start in terms of this surely has to be some kind of 5-minute crafts video. It even looks as though it's been shot in that format. Whether or not it is actually 5-minute crafts or not, it is definitely just taking inspiration from them because, well, one, it kind of meets the criteria of being completely useless and very random. I mean, that's kind of two criteria right there that it's fulfilling. And then even though I am a little bit disappointed that they didn't manage to fit hot glue or concrete into there, because really they could have been structural members of this entire thing, if we do manage to overlook, we kind of get to the third and final criteria, and that is that there is already a product that does the job better and probably for virtually the same price. And so I don't really understand why you'd ever need this. But anyway, I guess that's exactly what this entire sub is about, just making random useless things. The comments were ruthless, rightfully so though. Oh, coming right off the last one, this is a 5-minute recipes kind of thing. Oh, okay, what are we gonna have? A mirror, surely. What else are they gonna do to it? At least the quality has come back. Okay, oh, this is just a massive plethora of things. Oh, is this a way to turn your sheets inside out? I mean, like I said with the last one, if you want to be 5-minute crafts, you just have to be thinking out of the box and then some, because why? Oh, but next up we've got pool noodles, and then you just have to staple a random piece of fabric to it. I mean, actually, that one seems actually kind of cool. Not that I would do it, but I can understand why someone might do it. What else do they have for us? Is this going to be some lighting thing, or is it just for decoration? No, it's for lights. Yep, how could I have guessed it? I feel as though the worst thing with any of these videos is when you could actually understand why people might want to do this. I mean, that's obviously with only about 2 minutes thought. Once people actually go, hang on a second, I don't need to make any of these things. I can either buy it or I just don't need it. But either way, I can definitely understand sometimes why people might go, oh, I guess that is something that I kind of need and I guess I can just make it. And look, I can understand if someone just wants something to do, they want some kind of craft project, then really this just makes sense. And I guess that's probably why it's called 5-minute crafts. But I feel as though it's the fact that they just show it off as though it's going to be life-changing. You know, if you make this thing, you're just going to completely transform and revolutionize your entire bedroom, lounge room, coffee room, whatever it may be, just with this one little product. And look, I don't even really need to watch any of these to kind of understand what's going on here. We all know what's going on here. They're just random little videos. And yes, it obviously gets views because people are either very curious about what the hell they're going to be bringing out next, or maybe for a change, someone will actually be interested in what they're making. Geez, that'd be completely crazy. And I guess, like I've said a million times, if someone is actually looking to try and upcycle or just kind of reuse and just rejuvenate things that they were otherwise going to be throwing out, then I guess that is definitely better than just it going to landfill. But still, I just don't know how much better. And I guess regardless of how random it might be, or even just completely useless you might think it is, at the same time, you have to give props to the people that are thinking these things up, because man, you got to be, like I said, thinking just out of the circle, out of the triangle, out of the square, out of the boxes, whatever you kind of shape you can think of, they're thinking in 4 dimensions, because it's just completely crazy the amount of stuff that these guys come up with. And to be honest, without them, I feel as though this sub would just lose its entire heart and soul. So yeah, just keep it coming, but just don't do it. The Holy Avocado. Is this going to be some monstrous contraption that it almost looks like it was once a printer, but is this going to be some monstrous contraption that just illuminates one avocado? I mean, geez, this one has just completely stepped it up in terms of the engineering and thought that has gone into this. I mean, it just makes sense. It's for avocado, so I can't knock them in that regard, but no, that is crazy. I mean, hey, even though it is completely random, I kind of feel as though it's actually necessary just to have these random contraptions like this. And really, I would even consider this to be a Rube Goldberg machine, because it is just so over the top in every way. I mean, like I said, the entire thing has been so well done. The fact that they've got lighting and spinners and automation, and it's only a one button push. I can only imagine that the person probably wrote the code and engineered it and 3D printed it, whatever it may be, but the entire thing is just cool. Because let's be honest, if some massive diamond ring, really even just kind of the crown jewels emerged out at it there, you certainly wouldn't be saying that this is a DIY. You'd just be going, wow, that's a cool machine in terms of its entire contraption and how it works and brings up the entire thing. And so even though the entire thing is obviously centered around the fact that it's all for an avocado, I feel as though the actual fact that it's a DIY doesn't even count, because you could put anything on that and make it do that. It's not as though if you were at a, I don't know, Taylor Swift concert and she suddenly emerges from the stage, then you'd be going, well, I don't know, surely you could have put something a little bit better on there. No, like I said, it really does not matter what you put on it. The entire contraption around the entire thing is just cool. And so I don't know, I kind of feel as though I just disagree with this entire thing. Yeah, you can kind of say it's a bit strange to put an avocado, but it looks like the avocado is sitting on an electrical tape roll, and so really it's obviously not a permanent fixture there. And that is definitely a good thing, considering that this avocado needed another 2 weeks to ripen at the start of this video and was probably 2 weeks overripe by the end of it. But it really is plain and simple. I don't even care what they put on it. I am just impressed with this person's engineering skills, and so I just don't think it is that DIY. Modern problems require modern solutions. Now, if I'm honest, I feel as though the last one kind of just completely tackled the modern solutions problem, but let's just see what this is. Oh, okay, no, you certainly don't want you don't want that. That is definitely unhygienic. I mean, it is kind of yours, so I don't really know how that works. But no, I guess each of their own. Wait, hang on a second. What? Don't know what? This guy is going to winch himself up above a toilet. I mean, I don't really know if that counts as a modern solution to a modern problem. I feel as though this is more just I don't even know if it's a problem. And also, hasn't he thought about the fact, or at least surely you'd be knowledgeable enough to kind of make something like this? You're knowledgeable enough in physics in terms of equal and opposite reactions. So if the water was splashing before, it's definitely going to be making a splash now. And in saying that, he gets some serious height out of that thing. So I hope that there's a Model 2 or a version 2 that has a revised lap belt or something to hold people in, because, you know, some people are going to be up there for a decent while just obviously trying to not splash their bum but getting their feet instead. And so you can't just have someone struggling and then all of a sudden they're just falling off. I mean, that would certainly be bad for business. And look, even though I'm going to assume that it's a language barrier, I just love the fact that he said, oh, it's very human as you winch yourself up above a toilet. Like, I just don't feel as though that's kind of the right way to describe something like this. I mean, it's a human process, but not anymore. I mean, hey, who am I to judge? If this is what the problem that this guy had and this is the solution that he made for it, then good on him. I mean, I certainly can't kind of test it for myself, because I feel as though that kind of thing is a one-off, one of a kind, surely. But I just love that this guy is obviously a germaphobe to the point where he just wants to remove himself from the toilet by 2 meters. But at the same time, this was actually a big enough problem and was affecting him to the point where he had to go about it, build an entire contraption with winch, pulleys, toilet, welding, all of those kind of things had to come together just to make this random DIY post. I feel as though this one is definitely the most explainable, but the most random thing I've ever seen. And so look, I guess in saying that, it is no different to any of the other ones where people are just trying to help out. They're just trying to solve a problem for humanity, and really, even though no one thought that this was a problem, I mean, maybe you did, but at the same time, like everyone else in this sub, this guy's just able to think four-dimensionally and solve problems to problems we didn't even know we had. And so look, you gotta give props to him. He obviously kind of is proud of his contraption by the way he goes up and down with a smile. And so really, who am I to be sitting here judging someone that is sitting 2 meters in the air? Like I said, he's obviously proud of it, and hey, who knows, maybe we'll just start seeing these contraptions all over the world. They're going to be the next big thing, because obviously he's just going around solving people's problems, and really he's just starting with his own, and there's no better place to start. Why would you do this? Oh, I've already read it and I haven't even played the video. Oh, this is going to be painful, isn't it? Okay, what are we going to get? Oh no, this is so painful. Oh, the amount of glitter. Oh, I just hate glitter because it is never, ever, ever going to leave your house. You think you got it all. You think you kept it to one little location, but no, it will just always be there. Oh, and I feel as though I could take it if it was just the body of the console, but the fact that you also did the controller, you know, you're going to have all the residue once he takes it off, because he goes, no, 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 this is certainly not staying like this. Because the amount of unwanted texture and lack of grip that that would bring, let alone the amount of sweat that's going to be building up on that very fake plastic. I mean, maybe it would actually allow a little bit more airflow around the hand, but really I feel as though with this one I have to kind of treat it as a guilty until proven innocent, because we can clearly see that she's guilty of doing the deed, but at the same time, just why? It doesn't make sense. I am sure if Sony meant for it to look like that, they would have made it look like that regardless of how much it cost, because really I can only imagine that that wasn't cheap to do. And so to go ahead and just completely ruin all the lines, all the kind of sleek look, you know, it's meant to look futuristic, that's the entire look that they're going after, and so for it to just be completely turned into glitter and glam and all those kind of things, no. I mean, actually I'm sure you could even buy side panels that virtually do the same thing, or even just buy kind of just a plain, just, or I don't know, no name brand side panels that you can clip onto there, and you can go to your heart's content, you know. Just please don't go ahead and do this to the original, because you've just completely tanked the entire resale value, and really everyone knows that that's what it's about, you know. You can't get consoles, you can't get graphics cards, you can't get any of that, and so really everyone was just buying them to resell them half the time, and so really, like I said, you've just completely ruined it, unless there was going to be one person that goes, oh my god, that is exactly what I'm looking for. If you are actually able to find that person, then good on you, but really I feel as though the entire point someone would do this is actually have kind of the craft's journey, not to actually have it sitting on their desk or table or wherever. And I certainly hope with all that glitter and all that glam that it still functions the same in terms of she hasn't blocked any air vents or anything like that, because well, that is going to be the one saviour out of this entire thing. If you just kind of have to put it in a cupboard, never look at it again, obviously you might have to buy a new controller or just do your best to get rid of all that stuff off it. And at least then if you just hide it in the cupboard, it'll be out of sight, out of mind, and maybe with a little bit of luck you'll just completely forget the entire thing ever happened. You won't have to kind of stare at a random DIY project. And so now finally for the top of the month for DIY, we have, I guess, upcycle. Upcycle this office chair with me. Okay, that's a very standard office chair from, I don't know, every 60s movie I've ever seen. And it's got the foam to match. What are we going to have? Oh, expanding foam. I just said foam, but we couldn't get away without expanding foam, could we? Spacking for sculpting. What is going on here? What are they making? Is this going to be the start of all the glue for the Game of Thrones chair or something like this? What is actually going on? I can't imagine it's going to be very comfy. How long is this video? Oh, actually, it's nearly done. Oh, there we go. Look at that abomination. My goodness, that is ugly. I don't know what that reminds me of. I'm sure it'll come to me. Oh, I know what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like Vomit Ugly Furor. That is crazy. But yeah, geez, I guess I have to agree with the title in terms of this is definitely not upcycling. I mean, I guess I'm always in two minds about this, because if this chair was just going to go to landfill and this is what someone wants to do, then good. But then again, at the same time, the amount of chemicals and expanding foam and everything that has gone into this, I really don't know if it is that environmentally friendly, because that really is what upcycling comes down to, is just how kind of environmentally friendly it is. And I feel as though just cladding a chair with expanding foam and paint and everything else that you put on it, it just isn't that environmentally friendly. And also, like I said, I mean, I guess a cat's sitting on it, but really I just cannot imagine that it's very comfy. I mean, maybe it's just perfectly molded to their body shape, but at the same time, how? But no, besides being an art piece, and really that's exactly what I see someone like this as, you know, just put it in the corner or just put it on a pedestal in an art museum and people go, oh, look at that, that's lovely. And then of course just forget about it 2 seconds later. But really, I just feel as though it's definitely an art piece, not just kind of a living room piece. But no, besides it being an art piece, I just really don't understand how this fits in anywhere. I mean, like I said, obviously the cat's liking it to an extent. I mean, the cat probably was just put on there for 2 seconds and they managed to get 2 seconds worth of footage out of it. But I feel as though this one is definitely deserving of top of the month for DIY, because I just cannot answer the why. Because as strange as so many of these posts are, I can actually understand, like, let's take the knives, you know, I can actually understand why someone might think that that is actually a thing to do, where this one, just, I don't get that kind of same feeling. So I guess if this person is just after a little bit of exposure, then it certainly makes sense, but otherwise it is definitely just a very big why, and I feel as though even the 4-dimensional thinking beings on this sub wouldn't even be able to procure an answer for that. But anyway, that is going to do it for the top of the month for DIY, so thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to do the YouTube algorithm things down below and let me know if you had a favorite post out of any of these. Other than that, we check out awesome posts all over Reddit, so make sure you check some of the other videos out now, or hey, maybe even just want to consider subscribing so don't miss another one of these in the future. Well, have a good one and see ya.